Minecraft mechanics can get weird. From fireboats and super speed to clutching with absolutely nothing, there's an endless amount of wacky tricks to pull off throughout many different versions. I'm Frizz, a speedrunner of around a year and decade-long Minecraft player, and in today's video, I'll break down how to pull these mechanics off, why they work, and how they're used by players like myself to accomplish tasks more efficiently. I'll try to keep this video as accurate as possible, but keep in mind I'm a speedrunner, not a developer, so my experience is more hands-on. Regardless, let's jump into the first mechanic, portal breaking. This mechanic can be done in any version, but it's typically performed in 1.16.1, the most common for speedrunning. The purpose of this move is to break your nether portal as you enter it, allowing you to either make another portal close by or go straight back through and not link up to the original. This is most commonly used when the stronghold is very close to the nether, aka within 20 blocks, and you want to ensure your next portal build won't link up, allowing you to hit the stronghold or I Spy. To pull this off, break the portal with a lava or water bucket, take a light such as a flint and steel or fire charge, and hold right click and jump at the same time. The goal is to switch to the bucket and time placing it perfectly so you can enter the nether and break it at the same time. While still holding right click and jump, count the jumps you do. On the apex of the 8th jump, switch to your lava bucket. If you timed it properly, you'll have placed the bucket, gone through the portal, and have performed a portal break. I actually just learned how this works recently from Feinberg, one of the top runners in the world, and it comes down to Minecraft's repeat rates when holding down specific buttons. Minecraft's time measurement unit is called a tick, which occurs 20 times a second or every 0.05 seconds. When holding jump, you'll jump every 11 ticks, and when holding right click, it will trigger every 4 ticks. Going through the portal takes 80 ticks or 4 seconds, so by using the 8 jump timing schedule, you should be reaching the apex of your 8th jump right around the 80 tick mark. And by holding right click the whole time and switching to the lava bucket, it gives you a 4 tick margin of error for timing that switch. Let's move on to the second mechanic, damage invulnerability. This mechanic has multiple great uses, but its two most common are for knockback canceling and zero cycles. One of the moves involves the mechanic's knockback properties, and the other uses its damage selecting properties. Damage invulnerability is the half-second period after a mob or player takes damage, typically where you'll see it get red. In this period, you cannot be dealt any knockback, and you can't be dealt any damage that is less or equivalent to the initial attack. Knockback canceling is typically used when dealing with hoglins, which are common in Crimson Forests, Stables Bastions, and Bridge Bastions. By utilizing the quick damage of a flint and steel, you can momentarily light your feet while passing a hoglin to negate all knockback. Since the game has to choose the first knockback dealt before the invulnerability period, it picks the damage tick from the flint and steel rather than the knockback from the hoglin. You will still take the larger damage from the hoglin, however, and this ties in nicely with how this affects zero cycles. Sometimes while performing a zero cycle, where you meet the dragon on top of one of the pillars, you can use a bow to slow the dragon enough to detonate 2 beds in one rotation. Shooting the dragon with the bow starts its invulnerability period, but Minecraft will pick any higher damage that is dealt during that period, which would be the bed. Once that period is over, aka half a second after it's shot, you can then detonate the second bed to deal another full dose of damage. Now let's cover boat velocity. Boats move differently in multiple different scenarios, but none is more jarring than the floating maneuver. There's 2 main ways to pull off this mechanic, but they both have the same main purpose: traveling further distances. Here's a side-by-side comparison of the floating boat mechanic and the normal boat, and you can easily see the difference it makes. To pull this off, you just have to look down, row off a ledge, get out of the boat, get back in the boat, and do this repeatedly while holding forward. This works because Minecraft cancels a boat's velocity when you exit it, whether that be forwards or downwards. Try this out for yourself. It even works on ice. Alternatively, you can quickly light and extinguish fire inside the boat's hitbox to engulf it in flames. This makes the boat take a tick of damage every second, causing it to momentarily pause when it does so. The extra distance will typically be less than if you use the first method, but it is safer if you aren't as skilled. I would typically use this mechanic in the nether if I'm trying to cross a lava lake, but don't think a normal boat's distance would make it. It's always better to be safe than sorry, so if you think a gap may be too long normally, just get in and out a couple times to be safe. Next up, let's talk about dragon animation strats. The zero cycle is the fastest way to kill the dragon in Minecraft. By climbing one of the 4 possible pillars, meeting the dragon at specific heights based on the pillar, and detonating beds and respawn anchors to deal damage, you can kill the dragon without ever having to wait for a perch. Once the dragon is killed, it flies to the center fountain and orbits down until its death animation is triggered. And 10 seconds seconds later, the portal opens and the fight is over. In 1.16.1, there's a very niche strategy to lower the animation start time for specific zero cycle pillars. By using bone meal and twisted vines to build up, an ender pearl to reach the top of the vines, and placing blocks over the fountain at 0, you can skip a lot of the wait time for the dragon once it's been killed. It's important to note that since 1.16.2, pearls don't collide with vines anymore. This is so impractical and difficult to pull off that you'll probably never have to worry about doing this, but it's still insane to think that mechanics this advanced even exist. Loki, a top level runner and one of the most mechanical players in the world, has a clip pulling this off in a practice map, and it works most optimally with a back diagonal Y94 tower, a counterclockwise rotation, and a one rotation dragon kill known as a 0+4. Seriously, this guy is insane. I'll leave his mechanics montage, which includes this move, in the description, but this just goes to show how insane some specific mechanics can get. Let's talk about soul sand skating. Here you'll see me placing a soul sand block, triggering the soul speed effect, and running along the very edge of this nether brick block line to move extra fast. This mechanic requires soul speed boost to pull off, but the reason it works goes back to how the player interacts with blocks. Before version 1.20, if you stood on the very edge of a block, you wouldn't get the effects of whatever that block was. So if it was a magma block, you wouldn't take damage. If it was honey, you wouldn't get slowed down. And if it was a slime block, you wouldn't bounce and you would take normal fall damage. By using this in conjunction with soul speed boots, you could receive the speed boost from the soul sand, run along the very edge of any block which wouldn't register as you standing on it, and continue to use the speed as long as you stay on the edge. This mechanic was also great for avoiding getting slowed down in soul sand valleys, and for bridging with soul sand by crouching on the very edge. As I said before, Minecraft changed how you interact with the edges of blocks in 1.20, so this trick no longer applies in modern versions. That's great news for landing on slime blocks, but not great news for avoiding magma damage. Now let's cover the infamous nothing clutch. Requiring no items whatsoever, the shift clutch is the weirdest mechanic that was possible in Minecraft. Removed in 1.19.3, you used to be able to hit crouch at the perfect moment right before hitting the ground to negate all fall damage. To pull this off, sprint, hold jump, and tap crouch at the right moment just as you near the ground. It's super hard to do, and the timing is so specific, but it can actually be applicable in some niche survival scenarios. Based off my limited knowledge and research, it works because the velocity change of the crouch causes Minecraft to do some collision checks that give false positives, and in the end, it cancels all fall damage. There are people much smarter than me that know exactly how that process plays out, but the basics remain the same. Shifting at just the right time tricks Minecraft into canceling all your fall damage. I'm pretty sure this counts as a glitch in the speedrunning world, so you can't do this in any verifiable run, but it's still handy to know. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you want to learn how to master every structure in Minecraft, click this video right here. Thanks for watching.